So here's a little script or screenplay for the script. So I'd be like, "Hey James, hey James, it's Sean. I'm one of the Epicor partners. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment." Cool. So I help with a few different areas of the accounts payable process on Epicor. That could be taking up a bit of time and resources. Would you have any sort of issues with me asking a few general questions just to see if I could be of help to you at all? And then yeah, I go into the discovery, right? How many invoices would you say the business is processing like on a month-to-month basis? Are you using purchase orders? How are you getting them into the system? Most of the times people are like, yeah, manual, a couple hundred a month, yeah, purchase orders. And then, you kind of dive in deeper and be like, how do you feel about, the time and resource that go into getting them into the system that way? Like, do you feel like you're getting the most out of it, or you feel like you could be more efficient? People are like, yeah, whatever, be more efficient. And then you're like, okay. And then when it comes to invoice approvals for the business, is that just done via internal emails or, and they're like, yeah, most of the time they're like internal emails or we send it off, EDI, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, do you like doing it that way? Like, would you be open to a more potential smoother way of doing approvals? Right. And then, they go into that. And then you're like, okay. And then when it comes to like any security measures or checks and balances in place, do you currently have that? Or, just to make sure the correct payments are being made to correct suppliers and such. And then have you ever considered like if a fraudulent payment was made, like how would you reconcile that? Right. So you're asking all these questions for them to kind of unfold the pain themselves. And then lastly, I ask, who's your implementation partner that you're working with for Epicor? They'll tell us. And then 9 times out of 10, we're working with their partner already. So it's a win-win. It's a big old partnership ecosystem that we have going on with them. And then, transition to the pitch. You're like, okay, yeah, thank you so much for that, James. To me, it definitely sounds like our system could be of helpful or help to your current process, as we've been helping many other businesses quite similar to yours. I'll break you down how it works briefly. So, in short, we help automate 90% of the mundane data entry, both at the header and line item level. We'll then systematically three-way match your purchase orders while flagging any price or quantity variance. It then gives you a really clean, easy way to send invoices around for approvals digitally. And then, most importantly, Treld helps add multiple layers of cybersecurity into the end-to-end process to ensure the right payment is made to the right supplier and such. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now, does any of that sound like it could be of any help to you or the business? Right. And then the pulse check, like they were listening, be like, yeah, I mean, it could. And then you kind of just help again, dive in deeper. Be like, okay, I have my own thoughts, but curious, what particular areas did you feel like could be beneficial, specifically? And then they'll tell you this is where they sell themselves. And then, yeah, I think the automation would be great. I think this, and that. You're like, okay, with that in mind, I mean, would it make sense to see a free demo of the program, just so we can showcase how it works, how it integrates with Epicor, demos, and then you let them answer. Like, yeah, I mean, why not? I'm like, okay, demos usually take, 30 minutes in the form of a Microsoft Teams meeting. So you could bring anybody else in the business that you would think would be relevant for the evaluation. Did you have time this week or next for that? And then, they'll tell you like, what does your schedule look like for this week? I like to ask, yeah, open-ended question. About, yeah, tomorrow afternoon. So I'm gonna try that. But the thing is having people pick up the phone, you know, call so many people, and yeah, it's 3% connect 3 people to pick up.